welcome to this special edition of the InspireSpark Podcast in support of the World Mental Health Month in October. I'm your host, Siren, and today I'm excited to have with me Dane, a seasoned leader who, like myself, transitioned from the corporate world to entrepreneurship. Dane is the founder of Design Future, a coaching and consulting firm helping individuals and organizations design future of work and culture. Prior to this, she has over 25 years of corporate experience in marketing, branding, and strategy. We are here to share our journeys, challenges, and the strategies that have helped us navigate the complexities of life with a focus on mental health and well-being.
Hi, Siren. Thank you so much for having me today.
My pleasure. Let's start off with our transitions from corporate careers to entrepreneurship. Both of us have experienced major career shifts. What were the turning points in your journey that made you realize it was time for a change?
Right. I stumbled upon this question many years ago. Somebody asked me, who is driving your career? It left me thinking, is it the company, the HR, or my boss? At that moment, I realized something. I was giving away my power to others.
Yeah. It's a great question that's always on employees' minds. When I was in corporate HR, we also educated our employees that you are in the driver's seat of your own career and the company is here to support you.
Yeah, absolutely right. So what happened is that COVID have presented me a perfect opportunity. When my organization was going through a reorg, it provided me an avenue to rethink and reset what I want to do in the next phase of my life. I always wanted to pursue my own business. And honestly, in this stage of my life, the balance between money and meaning has also shifted. Hence, I decided to take the plunge. What about you, Siren?
Thank you for sharing. Mine is a long story, but to cut it short, right, at 35, I faced a traumatic, life-changing experience, alopecia areata, where I lost all my long, thick hair and even eyebrows and eyelashes. And it was due to a period of immense stress, both at work and in my personal life, where I didn't manage the stress well. I bottled up my emotions and turned to an unhealthy coping mechanism, damaging my health, which resulted in the condition. So that experience was a harsh lesson for me in the importance of mental health. And my journey has taught me many valuable life lessons, which has inspired me to create my care framework, science-backed strategies to build resilience and overcome stresses. So that is why I'm passionate to share these strategies with others so that they don't have to learn the hard way like I did. So that's why, embracing this calling, I left my corporate HR career of 20 years to be on this mission.
Wow, what a story, Siren. It's truly inspiring to hear your story.
Thank you. And how did you navigate the uncertainties and challenges of this transition?
I must say there are a lot of uncertainty and challenges along the way. And I can sum up my transition into 5 stages. When I first decided to leave the corporate world during the pandemic, I was very excited at first. It was like the honeymoon phase, right? I was like, yeah, I did it. I'm free to do what I want. The world is like my oyster. I can basically choose to go into any profession or industry. But after all the initial excitement settled down, reality check sets in. Yeah. I have only worked in corporate job after graduations. And after leaving the corporate world after 25 years, I was feeling like a fish out of the water and doubts started to surface. As a solopreneur, you do everything by yourself and there's many unexpected challenges that came along the way. And I started to really wonder, is this really truly what I want? Then came the third phase, which is all about the messy middle, a phase whereby I was trying to do things, trying out different things, and things were confusing. I was constantly asking, so what am I doing? What's next? Where do I go from here? But luckily, I then enter the reorientation phase, where I started to become clearer of what I really want and what it means for me in this phase of my life. I dig very deep into my competency, my skill sets and value, and I define, my true north. It is then when I experiment with all the different phases and prototype what my new life could look like, I keep pushing forward and slowly discovering what is right.
That's nice.
Yeah, eventually I would say I finally landed in this current phase where I just call it the good landing, where things start to click and I feel like I'm going on the right path.
Yeah.
Well, at least for now. And I sweet spot between coaching and consulting, whereby I am helping individuals and organizations to design their work and their life and to improve workplace culture. I think this is where I really feel is my true calling, helping others to thrive with well-being.
I can resonate with your five stages because I also go through similarly like you, right? I feel that transitioning from a corporate career to running own business is really filled with uncertainties and challenges. So for me, right, one of the biggest uncertainties is the financial instability. Because without a guaranteed income, right, I had to really carefully manage my finances and resources. And also one of the biggest challenges, it's because I honestly, I just jumped right into this. I didn't plan for it. So because of that, right, I have to build everything from scratch. So I had to learn and do everything myself, like what you mentioned, like solopreneur, you have to do everything yourself. So branding, positioning, marketing, sales, wow, it can be very overwhelming. And these are areas that's not in my HR scope last time. And yeah, another big challenge for me is to really be comfortable by, to put myself out there so that people know I exist. So I wasn't a social media person in the past. I didn't even have Facebook, and LinkedIn for me was just to look for job. So now I really have to like create contents, put myself out there. So it's a very big change for me. And yeah, so all this is really a steep learning curve for me. So to navigate these challenges, right, I invested a lot in my own learning and development by taking courses, seeking out mentors, and of course, embracing a growth mindset. And I relied heavily on my own care framework as well to really manage stress and build resilience with a positive mindset.
I can totally relate with you on so many different fronts about the social media. I've never, have an active social media account as well. So for me, like I've got Facebook for 20 years, but I didn't post a thing. And LinkedIn, like you, it's just to search for a job. So I have to learn everything from scratch and invest in my own growth as well. I really love what you just shared.
Thank you. Really important to have that growth mindset, right? Where we view challenges as opportunities to learn and grow.
Yeah, absolutely. I think I'm a learner at heart. So a lot of things that I'm doing right now, although it takes a lot of time and effort, but I truly believe that I need to upskill myself and, before I can help other people.
Yeah, it's like continuously making sure that we add value to our clients, right? By growing ourselves.
Absolutely.
Great. And maybe what we can talk about, let's talk about self-doubt. Starting something new often comes with self-doubt. How did you overcome self-doubt when you decided to leave the corporate world and start your business?
All right, that's such a good question. And I think one of the first things that really struck me when I first left the corporate world, right, is this huge sense of loss of identity. And in our society, very often our self-identity is tied to our job, our roles, and title. It's really difficult to separate who we are from what we do. So in the past, when you, for example, at a social setting, you always introduce yourself. Hi, I'm Dane from this company and this title. And suddenly I feel like strip off everything as if you are naked. And there is a lot of self-doubt in the first year, I must say, because you are building everything from scratch and you are always wondering whether this is the right path to go. There is, of course, a lot of fear. But some of the things that I've learned to help myself is basically, first, you need to release the past. You need to let go of the past before you can build the future. And also get rid of all the self-doubt and I must say also some guilt along the way that, hey, I'm giving up. One of the guilt that I face is that, am I throwing away, 25 years of experience and now, starting from scratch again? So I need to reframe myself. And one of the biggest reframe is about redefining what success look like. So success right now is not about the next promotions, the next big project, or the paycheck. It's really about finding what I truly want to do in life and the fulfillment from, helping and impacting others. So I mean, along the way, that really helps to rebuild my self-imagery as well as the new identity.
I
So
love it.
what about you?
Thank you. Totally agree with you, Dane. Often, right, people associate their identity and worth with their professional careers. So they will feel lost and empty when they lose their jobs or are not working. So financial concerns aside, right, life to me is more than a job. Yeah, so it's really important to find that balance and purpose in life. So for me, there were self-doubts moments, of course, with thoughts like, what if I can't make it? Am I really cut up for this business? Or even, can I sustain myself without a stable income? And especially, right, with the economy not doing well, companies are freezing their budgets and people telling me that I better go and look for a job. I still have a lot of runway in the corporate world. You're still young. You know, these doubts only grew. So to overcome the self-doubts, I remind myself my strengths, as well as most importantly, the why, my purpose. Why am I doing this in the first place? So I find strength in my purpose, which is to help others build the resilience and overcome stresses, ultimately elevating their well-being, especially when mental health is a global concern now. And of course, like I mentioned just now, I rely heavily on my own care framework to manage my stress, overcome self-doubts.
Okay, I can resonate so much with it. I think we're pretty aligned in terms of, our true north in
Exactly.
helping people to thrive in the circumstances and how we have overcome self-doubt. It's truly not easy because during the pandemic, obviously the economy not doing well. And
Yeah.
once it's come out of the pandemic, there was a whole period of uncertainty. And right now, I mean, the global outlook is not looking so good again. So there's constant up and down, but I think what doesn't change is our true north. So if we stay true to, where the why and the purpose and how it's guiding us, I truly believe that, we are on the right path and mission.
Yeah, really finding strength in our purpose.
Yes, absolutely.
And just now you mentioned a little bit about your definition of success now. After living your corporate careers, right, both of us redefine success. What does it mean to our lives? How has your definition of success evolved since you transitioned to entrepreneurship, and how does it differ from your corporate days?
Okay, I think this goes back way back when I'm young, and I grew up in Singapore, and in Singapore we have the Singapore dreams, right? And growing up, people always tell you the 5 C's. That is the definition of success, having cash, credit cards, I think car, condo, country club. So it's almost like having all the right status symbol, ticking all the boxes before you're considered successful. And that's very pretty much the script that I have followed throughout my life. And now that in this phase where I'm growing my own business, I realize the 5 C's that I'm going for are looking very different. So instead of very driven by monetary gains and materials, it's all about my calling, like what is my purpose and the work that I do to impact life, about connections, spending time with people that truly matters, like my family and friends, caring for myself and others. Self-care have become such an important part in this phase of my life. Cultivating joy, curating my life such that doing things that sparks joy for me. And last but not least is about courage. And we spoke a lot about overcoming fear and self-doubt. And that's what actually is pushing me on to, constantly evolve myself outside of my comfort zone to learn and to grow. And I see myself, thriving as a new person.
Very nice.
Thank you
I
very
love
much.
5 C's. Very nice.
Yes, my new 5 C's.
Yes.
So how do you define success right now?
For me, I used to define success, right, as climbing the corporate ladder. Success was closely tied to titles and accolades. Now, my definition of success has evolved significantly. It's about the positive impact I'm able to make on others' lives. Success is now measured by how much I can help others foster a positive mindset, manage stress, build resilience to overcome challenges so as to elevate their well-being. So seeing the transformations in the people that I work with gives me a sense of satisfaction and fulfillment.
Oh, I love that so much. and I can truly see the impact of work that you're doing. So well done, you.
Thank you. Yes, thank you. And let's talk about aligning our careers with our personal values and life aspirations, right? It can be challenging. Dane, what strategies do you recommend for achieving this alignment? And how can our audience ensure that they are on a path that truly resonates with who they are?
All right, this is such a deep question, and maybe I can share my personal example. So the questions that I asked myself was that, what is my purpose? And there are people who tell me, "Well, purpose sound really deep, very in local term, very team." So essentially, is what is driving you and what give meaning to your life or your work. It stems from understanding of your own value and aspirations. So, for example, right, what would you truly want to do if, let's say, money or social symbol is not a concern? What is the thing that will excite you when you wake up to do? And it's a lot to do with your values. Like for me, my values ties back to my family, impact, and helping people. So when I look at my values, mirror with, my previous skill set and competency, I can see how it all comes together, like what people say, finding the ikigai, right? So it's all about making the difference and having the impact to people around me. So right now, my mission now is about to help people design a life and career that not only bring them success, but also joy and fulfillment. And for workplace is to promote better work-life integrations and have a better leadership culture in the workplace where everybody thrives.
Yeah, I mean, leadership is so important because they have the direct impact on employees' well-being. Yes.
Absolutely. And I think what the leader do have such a profound impact on not just the performance of the organizations, but also the well-being of the employees.
Exactly, yes. So for me, similarly, I would say very similar to you, reflect on what truly matters to you. Take the time to understand your core values, passions, and what success and fulfillment mean to you. The clarity is essential because it serves as our compass, guiding us towards our decisions and actions. And once we have that clarity, then we regularly reassess our career path to ensure it aligns with our values and aspirations. And if we find a disconnect, don't be afraid to make changes. It doesn't mean that it always means you have to change a job. You have to leave the company. It could be seeking out projects that resonate with your passions, developing new skills, or then maybe even making bigger changes like pivoting to a new role or switching industries or even coming up with your own ventures if that's where your heart leads you. I must say the alignment isn't always easy and may require some difficult decisions at times, but taking these steps is crucial for long-term fulfillment. Because when our career is in harmony with our values, then work becomes more than just a job. It becomes a source of purpose and joy.
Oh, I love that. And I think you're so right in terms of sometimes it's not always about making drastic move. Even little changes can have a huge impact in terms of our balance as well as our joy. Maybe, finding ways whereby you can make your job more interesting, volunteering for new projects, or even seeking things that you can do in your after office hours or the weekend. That kinds of complete our life, because our life is not just about working, but also there's many other aspects outside work that we can truly, grow ourselves, and we can see, how we can find fulfillment in other areas.
Exactly. Yeah, it's really about balancing in life. Thank you, Dane, for sharing. And stress is inevitable whether we are in corporate or whether we are in entrepreneurship. What strategies do you have for managing stress and maintaining well-being in high-pressure environments? And how can our audience start applying these strategies in their daily lives?
Right. I think, like you say, stress is something that we can't run away from, especially into the modern world. But look on the bright side. Stress meaning you care about it, because it just means that you still have the drive in you that you want to do better, and hence you have stress because you want to deliver, you want to perform. And I've been a very busy working mom all my life, and to me, I want to really keep things simple. So we all heard about this philosophy, KISS, KISS, keeping things simple and stupid. And this is something I think everybody can follow. So there are a few things here. First is really prioritize what is truly important. There will be 1,001 things that require your attentions, but there will be 20% of it that truly move the needle. So if we can identify those big rocks and focus on them, I think we can achieve much more. Secondly, is something that I am still trying to practice is letting go of perfection. So I'm a recovering perfectionist. And because of that, I still remember like all my PowerPoint presentations, I can work till like 2, 3 a.m. just to perfect the slide so that it looks nice and things like that. But honestly, maybe that extra few hours could be better spent on doing something else because nobody would notice those tiny mistakes that only I can see, like the alignment.
I can resonate with you because I'm a perfectionist as well. So I have high standards and want to do things perfectly, which can cause additional stress and take up more time when I'm already handling multiple things, right? So really, I have to learn to
Absolutely.
prioritize what really is important and let go of perfection.
I'm learning that as well. I must say that I'm making a lot of progress, but there's still room to go. And the third is really focusing on the present because we, as human nature, right? Either we keep thinking about the past, oh, I could have done this better, or this has gone wrong, and you blame yourself, or you worry about what haven't happened in the future. So instead of thinking about the past and the future, I think one of the trick that I do is focus on the present, because once you know what's important, you just focus on making the task work for you on a day-to-day basis. And by focusing your attention on the right area, you actually get more results than to spend your negative energies and stress on areas that you can't control anyway, right? And the last one that I feel is so important is about cultivating joy. This is one of my new 5Cs, but I feel like it's so important that in day to day, how can you bring in little things? So for me, it could be something simple like eating. So I love sweets and dessert, like eating a piece of cake that I like, or having a good cup of a tea at the end of the workday, or just going on a short walk after work. Just little things in life. If you can squeeze in like maybe 10 minutes here and there, it makes a lot of difference in terms of regulating your mood and energy.
Yeah, finding simple joys in life.
Yes. And sometimes the best things, the simple joy comes free. It's like watching the sunset, watching children playing in the playground. Honestly, that gives me a lot of joy for my
That's true. That's true. Yeah. When I see cute things, I will smile also, like cute babies, cute animals.
Yes, absolutely. And one last tip is about practicing gratitude. So gratitude is very important to me because it allows me to reflect back of the journey and the progress that I've made. So right now, I make it a point to celebrate small win. No matter how tiny, I still deserve a pat on the back. And only you can give yourself that pat on the back. And don't forget that. And even in times of challenges, right, and adversity, I always try to find what is the silver lining and what I can learn during those challenging moments.
Yeah.
I think that's so important. And Siren, I also know that you have a very unique approach to this as well. What practical tips can you share with our listeners?
Yes, thank you. So you've heard me saying my CARE framework several times, right? I shall just briefly explain it here. So C stands for choose to be positive, because everything starts off from our mindset.
I love that.
Mindset will influence our behaviors and the results we get. So we really need to make a conscious choice to be positive so that this becomes our way of life, because the quality of our thoughts will directly impact our happiness.
Yes, true to that. I think the mindset is one of the most important things.
Yes, exactly. Because everything starts off from your mindset. And then A stands for acknowledge your emotions. It's really important to don't try to suppress your emotions when you feel stressed, when you feel lousy, when you feel overwhelmed. It's your body's messages to you. It's your body's alert signals to you. Is your body's way of communicating to you, right? That you maybe something is off, you should go and do something about it. So what you should do is really to acknowledge those emotions, put your feelings into words so that it can help you to process and move forward.
So it's okay not to feel okay and acknowledge it.
Exactly, correct. So it's really often we try to show, put up a strong front because we don't want to show that we are weak. But it's actually okay to feel not okay, like what you mentioned, okay to feel struggling, etc. Really, it's important to acknowledge them so that we can process them and move forward. Yeah. And ARA stands for reframe your mind, really shifting a perspective to focus on the positives. Very similar to what you've mentioned, right? It's like finding the silver lining. Um, Really, what can you see the opportunities from every challenge, be it growth opportunities, learning opportunities. And lastly, E stands for embrace positive self-talk. What you tell yourself becomes your reality. It's a self-fulfilling prophecy. So if you believe you can, you will be able to do it. But if you say you can't, right, you won't do it because you already think you can't. So it's really important to constantly remind yourself, motivate yourself using affirming language.
Yeah, I'm learning so much from the CARE framework, and I think it's so true that very often people cancel themselves out even before they have begun, right? They keep telling themselves that they can't do it, and hence they never try. But if you never try, you will never move, you will
No,
never progress.
exactly. My motto is also, if you never try, you never know.
Yeah, I mean, and what's the worst thing can happen? Even if you feel, you tell yourself it's part and parcel of the learning. You just,
Exactly.
take the lessons and do better the next time.
Exactly, correct. Thank you. And so before we wrap up, Dane, is there any final message you would like to share with our audience in support of the Mental Health Month?
Think this month is mental health month, and I think the key message that I have to the world is be kind to yourself. And
I love
I
it.
think this is so important, but yet so challenging. For example, a friend come to you and share that if he or she have messed up at work and is feeling very lousy, what do you normally do? You most likely will console them and say, it's okay lah, no big deal, just learn from the mistake and move on.
Mm.
Now let's change the scenario. If you are the one that messed up, what would you tell yourself? Most of the time, we beat ourselves out and say, why are you so stupid? Why can't you handle small things? Why can't you do better? We are usually our own biggest critic. So self uh, kindness and self-compassion is all about treating yourself with the same kindness and understanding that you would have offered to a friend.
Exactly.
Yeah, I think that's something that we do not practice enough of, and I would love for everyone to, treat themselves with more kindness moving forward. And
Mm.
it's all about self-appreciation as well. A self-appreciation allow you to see your own strength and accomplishment in the wider context and seeing yourself the way it is. And accepting yourself, the good, the bad, and all the in between, because there is only one you, everyone else is taken. If you are not kind to yourself, who will?
Yes, I really love your message. Self-love, self-worth, self-acceptance, self-kindness, self-compassion is really so important, but yet it often tends to be overlooked. Yeah,
Yes,
therefore,
absolutely.
practicing self-care is really critical. And so to our listeners, remember that prioritizing your mental health is very important. Take the time to care for your mindset and well-being. We often face pressures and challenges in life. Embrace the power of positivity and resilience. Life will throw us challenges, but it's how we respond to these challenges that really defines our path forward. So use the strategies we have discussed today, and remember, it's okay to seek support or help. It's okay to talk about your struggles and being open about what you're going through. It's so important to acknowledge that vulnerability is a strength, not a weakness, because it makes you authentic.
Absolutely. And
Yeah,
life is a 20% what happened to you, but 80% how you react to it. So we all have the power to make a difference in our life and to help ourselves. So it's like you need to put on the oxygen tank first before you can go on to help others.
exactly, correct. Yes. So let's support each other on this journey, check in on each other, and create environments where mental health is openly discussed and valued. Together, we can make a difference, not just in our lives, but also in the lives of those around us. So, everyone, thank you for tuning in, and thank you, Dane, for joining us. Bye-bye.
Thank you so much, Siren, for having me. Bye-bye, everyone.
My pleasure. Thank you.